100% flourish. And we joked about all kinds of inappropriate stuff and this, that, and the other. And if I stepped in it, they could tell me and I could apologize and say, you know, I didn't mean to. And we were right back at it. I feel like the HR version of it is a safe way, but it lacks the thriving that comes with authority, you know, or the loving side of it. And so what I mean by that is this: by showing a legit concern for the other person, like, and they know, love you like family, not just the person who is, you know, shoveling stuff for me, or, you know, or doing the hard work for me. If I, the more I can do that, the more latitude I have for when I make a mistake. But if I merely just do what is HR, legal, and the like, when I make a mistake there, you might jump me for it. You know, so two standards then, just to build on this point.
Yeah.
There is the legal standard, you know, in the way we deal with one another, and there's what I call the moral ethical standard, which is way up here. And since human beings don't travel in a linear way in the way we behave, we're up, we're down, we're up, we're down. If I'm at the moral standard, right, and I'm up, you know, I'm way above it sometimes, and sometimes I'm a little below it, you know, because the joke was not funny, although I thought it was, you know, and I'm up it. But if I'm aiming for the moral standard, I'm way far away from violating the legal standard. But if all I want to do is treat you at the level of the legal standard, I'm only going to do what's legally permissible. Some days I'm up, but someday I'm going to be down just beneath that. And I might just set my organization on fire, you know, because aiming for the moral standard over the legal standard is a much safer, but much more rewarding way to work with people, aiming for that higher standard. And so when I taught classes, you know, for human resources, Las Vegas, I brought that slide out over and over and over. Here's the legal standard and here's the moral standard. The legal standard is if I say nothing to you at all, you know, then I might not run in trouble. I ignore you. I'm passive aggressive. I only make eye contact with you. There's nothing to that, you know. But if I treat you like a sister, if I treat you like a brother, if I treat, you know, or new firefighters and I'm an older guy, if I treat you like a nephew or a niece, we're gonna be fine. You know, we're gonna be fine. Even when I step in it, and you will step in it, you are going to say something foul, out of line, insensitive, whatever, because you are human. You are human. Your only alternative is to say absolutely nothing. And who wants to work like that? Yes.
I think my name is Deborah, and I want to refer back to when I was supervisor, and I had the little incident with the worker that worked under me or whatever, and I tried to use that sister power or whatever, treat you like a sister, and we stay on that level where we laughed and joked about everything, but it backfired.
It can.
It backfired on me because I thought we was on a different level, and then all of a sudden you come to work one day and you just don't feel like doing anything. Now you want me to excuse you and let you just lag, and we don't get things done.
Exactly.
You know, so
is there a question in there? Because I've got an answer.
The question is, I don't know.
Okay, we'll call it more of a comment to that. So now so first off is that there's a diagnosis. You know, straight away it sounds to me like that person began to care less about the relationship than you did. And by doing so, they assumed what?
The power.
Exactly. They assumed you had the formal authority, but they assumed the informal authority by not caring about the relationship with you anymore. So that's the first thing. And I'm not saying that where you got to, you know, clap back at them. Just know that it's a temptation that we all have to grapple with. You know, we all have to grapple with the allure of, you know, if I just withdraw a little bit, I can have more say. I can dominate this relationship. You know, if I just, you know, give you some of that, because I know how badly you want to.
Well, I try to draw back. Okay.
You might.
Since they don't feel up to it today, then I'll take over and I'll do that.
And so here's where I would say is my comment. Is the loving thing to do to let them slide, or to hold them accountable for their sake?
I wanted to hold them accountable.
For whose sake? Yours or theirs?
Theirs to keep their job.
And right, but
Mine's to keep my position as well, because if the job doesn't get done, then the supervisor over me is going to look at me, not them.
Agreed. So the point I'm getting at is the pure exemplary display of love and or authority in that case is you hold them accountable and you try to do it for their sake. So look, I don't want you to be conditioned to think that being obstinate, or backing off and withdrawing will allow you to not work at a high standard anymore. For your sake, and for the company's sake, I'm gonna chase you around for a high standard, which means it's not going to make your job easier. Your job just got harder because now you got to pay attention to this person who might withdraw further, and there's a chase game. It makes your job might have just gotten harder, but if you say, because I give a damn about you and the organization, I'm going to do the work, because I care. Yes.
I love the idea of treating people with the level of love and respect that you would hope that would be in all families, but that's just not the way that works.
Mm-mm.
And so,
well, it does work, but it is not permanent. You'll have to work at it all the time. You see what I'm saying? Just like marriages don't work, you work at marriages.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, man, I just forgot my question.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There you go. It'll
Any
come
other
back.
questions?
No questions?
Comments, thoughts, observations.
Balance
Your
of power.
wheels were turning the whole time I was talking. What were you thinking? What was on your mind? Because I saw you contemplating, especially when I talked about the part of the principle of least interest, you perked up. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I know but I know when you get on the spot, you swing for the fence.
I don't know. I feel like I need a new question, or I got to hear something new now. My mind just been going and going. So
Okay.
Kind of
Is it something I can clarify? Kind of, what we can go with?
I'm gonna listen a little more, and I'm gonna chime back in.
I can throw some things into the mix. Going back into authority, what are some ways that folks can nurture, a sense of better authority? And it's not for the purpose of power, but it's more going back to authority within an organization when folks are able to line up to the same goal, right? And so I want to make one more comment on the morality piece that you brought up. That's why I think core values and mission and vision are so important to a company, because it almost becomes like, these are our core values and they should always be up here, right? And we can refer to them. Outside, whether it's through core values or other mechanisms, like how can we nurture more authority to get everybody in our company and our teams to be on the same page and do the things that need to be done so we can be successful?
Right.
So they start with, let me preface my remarks with this. There's no shortcut. It doesn't happen with your employee statement, or your onboarding process. There's no shortcut to it. It is ongoing, and they might not even realize it until you're gone that's what happened to them. You've retired, you promoted out, whatever. Then they might say, wait a second, So it's an ongoing thing. In a nutshell, what I'm really advocating is that you seek the primacy of real relationship with whoever you're working with, or whoever you're partnering with, or whoever you're doing business with, seeking actual relationship. And it might be just that short window, where you're saying, I want to be intentional about showing you that I care about you as a person. So there's listening, there's intense listening, to, what the other person's, perspective is, what their challenges are, what their worries are. And to the degree that you can articulate their concerns better than they can articulate it, now they know they're working with somebody that cares about them. So that's one, pathway to doing it. Sometimes being stern and saying, look, this is the standard. I'm holding you to it. I know. Let me give you, this one pastor, he's from New Zealand, and he gave this story. We talked about how, damn near everybody in New Zealand, does some version of shepherding. They got sheep. And so what he says is that, there's the sheep, can pick up all kinds of ticks and parasites and along the way. And so what they have to do is they have this like vat of like this toxic chemical kind of thing. They got to dip the sheep in it, to protect the sheep. Now the sheep have no idea. They just know they hate this thing. It stinks, it burns. And so when the shepherd is dunking into the sheep in the vat, it's bah, bah, they're fighting, proclaiming the name of Jesus to get, the devil get behind me, whatever sheep say to make that suffering stop. That's what those sheep are saying, not realizing, that the shepherd is dunking them in that vat of insecticide, whatever, for that sheep's sake. There will be times when you got to dunk your people for their sake, and they will cuss you, complain, and pray about you. They will pray, please God, do something with this, this evil supervisor I got, because I don't get it. And God may or may not explain it to them that no, you're being dunked, for your own sake. And so, I guess what I'm getting at is thinking about who you work with and who you relate with differently, realizing that there is a dichotomy between power and authority, and to the degree that you can, that you can pursue authority over power more often than not, then you start getting good at having better and better relationships. And you also start getting good at kind of trimming off the people who are uninterested in relationship with you, because now you realize that this person really is about withdrawing, love, withdrawing, relationship to assume power. Once I knew that changed my whole calculation the way I dated. It completely changed it, And so to where as fine as Jada Smith is, not this kid. Not this kid. Before this, I might have tried, because fine was the standard, not thoughtful. I know better now. I know better now. And so there's a long way around saying, and I do that a lot, because there's two ways to touch your nose. You can touch it like this, or you can touch it like this. I tend to touch it like this a lot.
I don't think I could reach my nose from that angle.
You got us all one.
So it's a long way around your answer, but it pays off. It really pays in the long term. And even if you get it wrong, because you are human and you are fallible, you will get love wrong. Even with your own kids, you have to decide: do I discipline this child, or do I love this child when they just stepped in it? They came home with a bad grade. Do I hug on them and say, we can do better? You might get it wrong because you chose the shake this time when the hug was appropriate, or you chose the hug this time when the shake was appropriate. You are human. You will get it wrong. But if you're, just like an airplane going from Las Vegas to Honolulu is off target 99% of the time on their way to Honolulu. They course correct. It's constantly off target the whole way until they get closer and closer. Then they narrow it down. But 99% of the time, an airplane goes from Las Vegas to Honolulu, it is off target. That's how we are in life. 99% of our lives, we are off target, and we course correct. That's what life is about.
And can you give an example as to?
Can you grab the mic, man? Sorry. Thank you.
And can you give us an example based on the question of Ms. Deborah with her incident that she has as a supervisor, and then putting in practice what you're teaching right now about always keeping the moral versus the legal? How do you divide that and let the employee, the personnel, your people understand, okay, I'm here, I'm actually the boss, but at the same time, I'm a human being, I understand. How do you let them understand that?
So so if I understand the question, how do you make your people understand that you're pursuing a moral standard versus the legal standard?
No, how do you divide it? How do you divide with the employee? Let's see, she was getting along very well with him. With his, I know there was a he or she, him. She was getting along very well. She treated him nice. She did all that stuff. But then got one day that he felt that she was being overly, that she was pushing because she's a supervisor. And then he started lacking, not wanting to do his work. So now she's thinking she's doing it correctly by actually being friendly with him, but then he took it as an advantage and then want to do it to the point that it costs her job. So how do you divide that, the friendliness, the I'm here for you versus I am your supervisor, I am the one that is above right now, so you need to work and do your job and not put the friendship in? How do you divide it? How you make them understand that?
Right. So first off, I would argue that they don't necessarily have to be separate. And that, you know, they're not. It's not a dichotomy to be the boss or the friend. You know, you could be the friendly boss. What I would counsel is that you are clear with your people where you're saying, I am the battalion chief here, but I'm more concerned with my responsibilities than my rights. And they pick up on that. They pick up on that. And so I have the right to make them do all kinds of things that they don't want to do. You know, I have all kinds of rights to make them do things to make my job easy, to make my day easy. You know, I have the rights to do all those things. But I was less concerned with my rights. I was more concerned with my responsibilities of making sure they had a safe, welcoming, inviting environment, you know, to work in. And as I had that reputation to back that up, it became less of a challenge. But early on, you know, guys didn't know if I was being for real or not. They didn't know if I was just quoting something from a book, you know. And once they see that you're genuinely, you know, that way of a person, it gets easier. But now let me also say this: this is not going to make your life super easy, smooth for us. It's not. The crazy paradox is this: I was easily known as the nice chief, as battalion chief, right? I'm the nice chief, you know, likable, easy to work with, but nobody had to take, you know, no one had more disciplines under the belt than I did. Why was that? Why do you think that was?
Because they listen to you more because you were always caring about them.
But why did I have more people that needed to be held accountable than, say, another battalion chief or whatever?
You have more.
That you were going to get the job done.
You have more authority.
So I think I'm asking the question poorly. So basically what happens is sometimes people can misread your kindness for weakness, and now you got a problem. But on the other hand, some people can misread your kindness for abdication. To whereas if you're really, really, really going to do this well, that means you will hold your people accountable for their sake. Because in the fire department case, the battalion chief that does not give a damn is not likely to discipline you, you know, until they're mad. And as long as you don't make them mad, you know, you can do whatever you want to do, you know, or worse, you can do all kinds of heinous stuff as long as you treat them like a buddy, you know, kind of thing. But two things will get you involved where you will have to hold people accountable in a way that's uncomfortable. A, because you give a damn enough about the organization or the individual to say, no, I'm gonna stay on you. I'm gonna stay strict on you. And the other category is the one that thinks your kindness is weakness.
I think that the one thing that threw the loop at him was that I did make the statement that, you know, we're cool and everything, but I have a job to fulfill,
Right.
that is expected of me.
Right.
This the food court has to be in line. That's what my boss is expecting, that we will keep everything going well.
And I got one point, I don't want to lose it, then make the comment second. The other thing that'll get you messed up, and I'm not saying this is in your case, but heaven help the captain who breaks the rules when it comes time for him to enforce the rules.
Yes.
You know, if you did something dishonest or shady or dirty, you know, last week, good luck getting after me because I did something wrong this week. You forfeit credibility. You forfeit the moral capacity, the moral right, you know, to get after me on something when just last week you did something that you know good and well you don't want the chief to know about. You know, so there's introspection that has to come with that too. Have you done enough to earn the right? And if you haven't, be honest about that. You can tell them, say, look, I know last week I did this and I should not have done it, but I can't let you do this. Sorry.
I know last week I let you slide.
And you say that. And you say that. So you know what?
This week we got to get the job done.
Upon further review, I did not do you any favors, by letting that slide last week. It was bothering me then. I should have spoke up, which leads me to another thing. I'm going to be doing a class on how to hold your people accountable based on this book called Crucial Accountability. So one of the classes I have in the pipe, I'll be teaching that one, and it is a doozy. It is a good one. That so when that one comes out, don't miss it. Now you had a question. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. It was a comment on top of that because we work together, and so I kind of lead with a certain level of kindness, and I try try my best to, and sometimes I get mad, but I try my best.
I see Surreal crying a lot, holding his eye.
It was AI. It wasn't him in real life.
He's holding his eye. He's running out the room crying. It's kind of a mean girl thing. Go ahead, continue.
No, yeah. So to your point about dealing with folks, you're being friendly with people, but you also have a job to accomplish. And so my attempt at that is, this job that we have, making sure the food court, right, is not my job, and it's not just your job, it's our job, and we have to do it together to achieve this goal. Like for every single thing that we do, it's to achieve that objective. But sometimes it gets hard. Right. And sometimes you're like, oh man, I just want to let this person go. Like, I don't even want this person to be here if they're not going to do the job. And then I go back into core values. Well, are they in alignment with the core values? Is it a problem we can't solve? And most of the time it's a problem we can solve. So it's like, okay, yeah, we just got to do the work. And you talked about it being ongoing work. And so how can what advice do you have for us to refill our cups, to recalibrate, to come back into a position of authority versus our fallible human selves that lean towards power?
So the first strategy I would recommend is work less, relate more. You show me a supervisor that's buried in spreadsheets and books and records and reports like that. I'll show you a supervisor that's probably got a budding or emerging problem with his personnel. What I have found, and I don't know how to put this in a way doesn't sound derogatory, but it kind of makes sense when you think it through. So careful. I can't be careful with the language because I think I missed the point. As I climbed higher from captain to battalion chief to assistant chief, I saw myself being able to do less work, but I was able to have way more time to relate to people, way more. And I got way more done doing less work, than I ever did being busy. As a matter of fact, my coworker chiefs that were all about answering every email, answering every text immediately, and days and days of meeting prep, and then days and days of documenting. They stayed busy, and they wanted everyone to see them just working 12 hours a day, hard grind, work, and at the end of it, accomplished nothing. I, on the other hand, fall way behind on emails, texts. My projects kind of fall behind a little bit, but I accomplished more and bigger things than probably just about any other chief in this valley, in the stuff that I did, in the space I did. It's not even close. It's not even close. The stuff I built. Yes, Sammy. Yeah.
I'm gonna go check on our youth.
So I'll build on that. So just to give you an example, I don't know if you guys remember during COVID, there was a thing called the Cashman ISOQ, which over at Cashman Field, we set up a place for homeless people to be able to recover or shelter when they were either exposed to or they were positive for COVID. Because I was the one that got mad at the health district when I said, what do you have as a plan, for the homeless people who contract COVID? They're like, no, it's going to be just like the flu. No, it is not. This is I think it was March 12th of 2020, I believe. And so I looked over at Kathy Thomas Gibson, who's over a homeless issue. So we got to do something. So I went out looking for a space to do that. I saw Cashman Field, and I drew up all the designs for how we could house, basically homeless people who were exposed to that. It was a massive undertaking, but with Kathy Thomas Gibson and all the people we built, we had medical infrastructure, we had all of it. I mean, it was chef's kiss. It was incredible. So much so that the Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security came and saw what we did, and he said, "This is the best thing I've seen anywhere in the world." There's nothing that touches this. And I'm not saying that I was all the credit. I just designed it. You know, Kathy Thomas Gibbs and those guys were the ones who made the operations happen. But what I'm getting at is, it wasn't a worker bee me, you know, that was doing it. It was relationship me, you know, that had a little bit of an idea, but a lot of relationships with people, and I let them just take off. And so no other chief, all the other chiefs outworked me. All of them did. None of them did bigger things than I did. And so and I bring that up to say this: try not to be so buried in your spreadsheets and your other work like that, that you lose sight of your people. You know, good, bad, or indifferent. The more you relate, the more you grow them, the more you empower them. You'd be amazed at how much stuff they smash. They get after it.
Stories are helpful, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to help with the story, because when Jon was sitting here talking about that person who's sitting there with their head buried in spreadsheets, it's not that it was me. It still is me. That every single day I wake up. Sorry, I'm breathing heavily on this.
Yeah.
This is very vulnerable. This is a very personal story that I still live with this challenge every single day. I am Spreadsheet Sammy. Spreadsheets are my superpower. It is something that I love, and it makes me extremely capable and extremely effective. It is also my greatest weakness, because I will see these numbers where other people see humans. And I have to go turn that back into, like, how do I engage with this human? How do I stop being a robot? I'm Spreadsheet Sammy, but I still need to work with people. Business is about people. Business is about relationships. So I think a really powerful hot seat would have this champion of human and human interaction, and a person who is very honestly still struggling with that every single day. If I have another superpower besides spreadsheets, it's probably intense self-awareness, that I can recognize that this is a challenge that I have, and that I choose every single day to try and overcome this. Because I'm not going to be able to achieve my dream on my own. I'm not going to be able to do all of these projects if I'm the only one executing them.
Right.
But I was the person who was in office at 7 a.m. and the person who left at 7 p.m. That the CEO knew who I was because I was the only person who was still in the building when he left. I was the person who answered every email and every text message before everyone else did. That I sometimes sat there and I said, do I want to turn off my outbox rule? That gives me a 1-minute delay so that I can go check and make sure that I have all the attachments I meant to include actually attached. Or do I want to be the person who hits reply all first, because I loved being the person who was always first to tackle a challenge. I loved being the person who was always first to say, oh, there's work to be done. It's already done. And yet it doesn't get you far enough. It really doesn't.
Right.
So my first question to you is, and I expect this to be back and forth because I am a perfect example of all of the things many people should not do.
Okay.
But when you're starting from there,
Mm-hmm.
how can you start building if all I know how to do is execute?
Mm-hmm.
If my pride and my joy and my capability is my work as an individual being,
Mm-hmm.
how do you start shifting to this mentality and executing as a leader?
So I'm glad you mentioned that, because we did an exercise about this a couple of days ago. And I want you all to do this for a second. I want you to imagine it's your 80th birthday. It's your 80th. Who's there? You know, imagine all the people who are there, you know, at your 80th birthday, your coworkers, your family members, your friends, you name it. Think of everybody who you want to be at your 80th birthdays. That's the first part of it. Second part of it, what do you want them to say about you at your 80th birthday? So what I would ask you, Sammy, and I'll turn it back on me for a second. On my 80th birthday, if my fire folks show up, they're going to say, Chief Stevenson stood up for me when I was being picked on. Chief Stevenson took the time and patience with me. I was a misfit at this station, but I went to Chief Stevenson's station. He trained me. We worked on stuff. We laughed all the damn time. We laughed. We worked hard all day. We turned hydrants. We did school drills, but we made everything fun. And he made me feel like I belonged and engaged. And so when I made captain, I tried to recreate the station environment that I had with Chief Stevenson. That's what I wanted to say on my 80th birthday. None of it said anything about my report writing, which was good. None of it said anything about my ability to order replacement plates, you know, or you know, none of that, or hose inspection, none of that stuff. The thing that they're going to remember me for on my 80th birthday is going to have everything to do with how I treated them and how I related to them. So then the question for you then, Sam, would be, it's your 80th birthday. Who do you want to be there? And let's imagine it's the people you work with. What do you want them to say about you? Will they extol the virtues of how you manage spreadsheets? Or do you want them to say, Sammy took the time to teach and train me, and she mentored me like nobody had ever done in my life. It's your 80th birthday, go.
And I say this, like I said this earlier today, the hardest part is the work you have to do on yourself. Because the first thing that I did is I lied to myself. My brain went, you know what? I want all of these business owners to tell me about how I enabled them to make so much money in their business, and that they were going to be super successful, and they did all these dreams that they weren't able to do otherwise. And I still want that. But when I think about the testimonials people already write about me and what makes them so meaningful, when I read through these things and I'm putting my website together, the things that make me cry aren't the ones that go, she made me money. It's the ones that go, she spent the time to make me feel cared about. She explained this so that I can go do it myself in the future. I don't feel like I was given one answer. I feel like I was given the ability to go get all of the answers on my own. Like, those are the people who, that's what I want to be said about me. I want those people to be doing really, really well. They're able to afford all of the longevity products ever, to be at my 80th birthday and to say that their dreams are possible, not because of what I help them execute, but because of who I help them be.
100%. And I would encourage you all to do the same thing. Here's the goal. It's a two-part goal. First part of the goal is to be irreplaceable and unrepeatable. That's your first step. But then there's the next step. So that's the junior varsity step. The varsity step is to create people who are irreplaceable and unrepeatable. And you are irreplaceable and unrepeatable. No two ways about that. But you're setting out to try to do the same thing with others. And as you get good at the second one, the first one, will just be the lead into the second.
Absolutely. And I'm going to look to Elias to let me know when we need to move to the next section. Can I do one last question to close this out?
All right.
For someone who is currently in that execution mindset, whether it's at work or in their own business, what advice would you give them to start moving themselves to this more relationship version of the world?
Probably the shortest answer I could give is try to find out more about people, either their aspirations. So aspirations is easier, ask, what do you want to do? Where you want to go? This, that. But if you can get it to another level where you can learn more about their concerns and their fears, and then have an intent to want to do something about those things, the thing they're afraid of or that bothers them. And when they see you working on the stuff that they aspire toward, they'll appreciate that. But when they see you working on stuff that is a fear or a concern or an irritant of theirs that really bothers them, then they're going to back you all day long. And that's another reason why, like the women in my, that I worked with, when they saw that I was going to do something about, the way they might have been spoken to or treated when they worked an overtime shift somewhere else, and if I never minded my own business, if I saw somebody mess with you at a different spot, I'm in. My nose is in it. And you would appreciate the fact that I spoke up, for you. And so if another battalion chief was giving you grief, me and that battalion chief, we're gonna have a go round, And so knowing what they aspire towards, but knowing what they care about insofar as what bothers them and what makes them afraid, what makes them feel dismissed or marginalized, and say, all right, I'm doing something about that, and do it, especially if there's a risk involved. If they see you taking a risk on their behalf, it's game, set, match. They'll back you all day.
Today, I learned from Jon Stevenson how to work less hours and make more impact.
It does.
Thank you so much.
Go laziness.
We're actually going to end it, Shaq. We'll keep it rolling. Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you, Sammy.
Awesome. Let's give John one more round of applause. Thank you, John, for spending time with us. So coming up next is our open networking and pitching. And we're going to try something different where we're going to create an opportunity where folks can come up, talk about their business, possibly get some Q&A and some feedback. And does that sound cool?
Yeah.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess we could even do it in a Shark Tank style format if will look good enough. I don't know if we can get it on the stream, but essentially what I would love to offer up is for somebody, anybody who wants to talk about their business, this is the opportunity to do that. It's an opportunity to practice your pitching and get some feedback from Jon and I, and then other folks in the audience. Who is willing to go first?
Should we get the guy who's not looking at us? Oh, now he's looking.
Oh man, we got a brave young man. All right. Josh for Peace Pops, here you go. All right, let's see how we can get this right.
We'll slide over, maybe.
Oh yeah, and then maybe you can stand in the middle. Okay. Let's attempt that.
It will be the Pips to your Gladys Knight.
All right. I'm gonna move this so you can stand all the way back. There you go.
All right. My name is Joshua Peace, and
I don't know if it'll hold him. It's shaky. Yeah. Oh.
So my name is Joshua Peace, and I'm the owner of Peace Pops. Peace Pops, I've been doing it for about 5 years now, so this is our 5-year anniversary.
Go ahead.
How old are you, man?
I'm 12. I first started my business back in 2020 when I was 8. So during COVID, that was one of the main struggles that we had to do, and it was but like the reason why I wanted to start my business is because I was tired of like always having to go buy the ice cream trucks or like at the store or something like that, and then like the ice cream just didn't have enough flavor, or like it didn't taste right. So I was like, okay, well, what if I make my own? So what if I put a twist on it? And that's what like sort of made Peace Pops, right? And then it started off from me freezing sodas from having my old vending machine into this right now. So 5 years later, and I'm still doing it. So
that's cool. So what is a Peace Pop?
So a Peace Pop is a popsicle, actually. So it's just it's about like this long, like to right here. And it's So it's like we have different flavors. All of them are all handcrafted. 11 different flavors. We have mango, pineapple, peach mango, pina colada, lemon lime, blue raspberry, strawberry lemonade, strawberry kiwi, and watermelon and monojito. So monojito is like mojito but without the alcohol.
Okay. I guess that's appropriate.
12-year-old selling monojito.
Yeah, exactly.
How can
we get some?
How can we get involved? And then also with a piece of feedback on whenever you pitch, if you come up with a call to action, you tell people what they could do to get involved. So how can folks get involved?
So what y'all can do to get involved is if you have this, so I can hand out flyers. So you can get it through our website. We do shipping internationally, like we can go anywhere. We sent it out to someone in Florida, New York, family out of town, everything. Yep. So
Okay, so now more business technical kind of questions, as if we're Shark Tanking. You got to be the mean guy on there. I'm the nice one. How do you know how many of your pops you've sold already? Like last year, for example, what were your sales?
We had a high sales. We had it was sort of a low sales increase because of I was busy during the whole entire summer doing Broadway in the Hood. So it was like an acting
doing
camp.
What in the hood?
Broadway in the Hood. So it's an acting camp. It's an acronym. It's called Helping Others Open Doors.
Okay.
So that's what the acronym was. But yeah, that's what I was busy doing. So sales have been pretty low recently.
And what would you call low?
Low, it would be like sort of like down to like 100.
100 units or $100?
100 like 100, like 100 units.
Okay, and how much is each popsicle?
$2 a pop.
So you sell it for $2. How much does it cost to make each popsicle?
Our exact prices would most likely be $150.
No, how much does it cost you to make to make one popsicle? How much do you think it costs you? Like 10 cents a popsicle, 15 cents?
50 cents at most, yes.
Okay. So that's something you want to try to calculate best you can and say, look, if I buy a gallon of this flavor and a gallon of that flavor, or a gallon of a certain flavor, I can make 100 popsicles, from it, and then the gallon cost me $10, and learn how to do the math that shows I spend this much to make this many units, and then this makes me this much profit and the like.
All right.
Where do you get most of your customers right now?
Most of our customers, we do it from, it's mainly family and people like in Las Vegas. So like I tell my friends at school, I'm like, oh, hey, like check me out, like the business, everything like that. Check my website out, everything else like that. So, and even family, people that we have from the website, Instagram, Facebook, everything. So.
What kind of licensure does a business like that need at one level and then to another level and next? So let's say he's just if he was just selling to us right now, presumably he doesn't need a license. But if he gets to a certain level where he's selling to whomever else,
You do need some licenses. Do you have licenses
Yes.
already? Awesome.
Okay,
Like
good.
your food handlers and
Yes,
everything?
yes.
Good.
That's great. Can you talk about what that process was like for you? And
Yeah, it was like, it was me and my dad. We did it, and we really just like we just got the license. It wasn't much really. Yeah.
did you have to do a food handlers test?
No.
Well, cool. Well, give it up for Josh.
Yeah.
Dude, that's how you try it to everyone too. All right.
I'm gonna give it a shot, but I'm gonna be like really.
You give me what?
I don't know.
Who's up
I
next?
want to give it a shot because I want some questions.
All right, give it up for Dr. Logo. All right. Would you prefer to stand?
I
or-
like the uniform.
Yeah, I'll stand.
Okay.
Thank
If you
you.
do stand, I gotta make it.
Yeah. Look at you being all tall.
Yeah.
All right. Go for it.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Logo, aka my name is Alex. So I am a digital creator. I've been doing logo designs, animations, and websites for about 6 years now. I'll give you a bit of a feedback of my story. So I started this when I was 8 years old, when my father used to own a video company. Now, I don't know if you guys done this, but whenever your dad does work at home, I always watch him do it. And kids these days, they're always into videos. So I started catching interest, start making videos with my dad. And next thing you know, a few years later after that, we start Dr. Logo Animations. So that's pretty much it, my story.
Okay.
What are all of the design skills that you have? Because you do a bunch of things. Can you talk about the different design skills you have?
Yeah, I'll go into deeper depths of the logos. So we could do letter mark and brand mark and combinations. What that means is brand mark is basically branding of what your logo does. Like, what do you do? For example, let's think, what's a good example? I guess we could say 31 Flavors. That's a hidden logo. So 31 Flavors, aka Baskin Robbins, they have the number 31 in the name without you guys really knowing. So that's a hidden logo. We also do that too,
Nice.
but we don't normally brand it.
Gotcha.
Have you thought about how to make more money without selling more time? Because you're in a service-based business, and so you're really, whenever you make a sale, you're really selling the time it takes you, plus your expertise to deliver the final product. Have you been thinking about how you could make more revenue or greater profit margin without having to increase the amount of time?
We actually found a process on our websites to make money with shorter time. It's a 3-day process. So we've added a $200 program for the websites. It's just a homepage. You know how you are on your phone and you just scroll down on the website. So we are going to sell those for $200, and it takes 3 days instead of the normal 1 to 2 weeks to make it.
Now, do you measure the growth of your business by clients or by logos created or a little bit of both? Or?
A little bit of both, yeah.
Okay.
So I would say we've had at least a few thousand through the 5 years.
Okay. So if we talked about your last year sales, what would you, how many of your logos did you sell, or how many clients did you have last year?
We actually did the math. I don't fully remember off my head, but we were near the 300 mark last year.
300
logos.
300 logos? Okay. With how many clients?
How many clients? Well, it was a variety of clients doing every different kinds of companies. We did, I think it was, no, that was my little brother. Sorry, I'm getting confused with my little brother's company because I help him a lot too.
And yeah,
So-
that's what they do. They distract you.
Yeah, so we've done a few companies. I don't remember most of them on the top of my head after so many I've done. But if
So would you say 300 logos because you had 300 clients?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I see.
But yeah.
How do you project manage that? I mean, 300 logos a year, that's like 30 a month, right? So you're going to school and
I am
doing other things?
Yeah, I'm homeschooled and I have a mentor helping me get on top of stuff.
Okay.
So certain numbers I am currently doing now because of my mentor.
And so what do you do for project management? Do you write it all down? Or are you using an
I
app?
write it all down and do it on an app. So I have a folder of all my progress so far.
Do you have any upcoming events or things, a call to action for us?
Yes, we have an event on May 25th. It's at Velocity at 5 p.m.
Awesome. And I'll see you at Holland as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. All right.
Was that a challenge or a invitation?
It was more like an invitation.
Okay.
Can you tell folks what we're doing at Holland?
We are doing Valhalla. Yeah, we're doing Valhalla.
So every Monday night, there's a Learn and Earn program at the esports facility by Morris Jackson, who was here last month, and it's for kids, but maybe we can get Rico to talk more about it too.
All
All right, let's give it to Dr. Logo. Nice job.
Whose water is that?
Is this your water? Oh, good. It's gone now.
Yeah.
It's out of the view. Who's next? All right, young man.
All right.
Introduce yourself and tell us what you got going on.
My name's Kingston Majors, and I sell affirmation cards.
Affirmation cards?
Oh, nice.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Okay. I like the name, Kingston Majors. That's regal right out of the
Amazing
gate.
name.
Yeah. You're
Company is?
not gonna talk trash.
My
to
company is Major Elements. So how I got into this is about 2 years ago. When I was 8 years old, when I first moved here, it was a big transition from homeschool to public school, and I was a little shy and scared to interact with other children at school, and that really took a toll on my personality because I like to talk to people, and I like to have fun. So, and I knew that I had to come up with a solution. So I came up with affirmation cards, and I'll read them to myself every morning, and I started to see the difference in the change that it had on me. And when I seen that it was a big impact and a good transformation for me to come out of my shell, I wanted to share that with other children if they're going through the same situation that I went through.
Holy shnikes.
Can you tell us about some of your favorite affirmations?
No one could place limits on my abilities. I could do anything I put my mind to. Thank you.
Good for you. So how many cards do you get do you sell them in a bundle?
It's like a deck. It's
Okay.
22 cards.
So it's a deck of 22 cards.
Yes.
And how much is a deck?
A deck is $30.
Okay. Would you consider doing 31 cards? That way you can have one for each day of the month.
Yeah. So, we really don't set the amount of cards. We tried to do 22, but on the new deck we just came out with, the athlete deck, we did 24 cards.
Okay. And where do you get the affirmations from?
I write them down from my head.
So these are your own
Yeah.
affirmations that you thought of.
Yes.
Goodness gracious. My word. You're gonna be a star.
I'm gonna use a big word, but I'm sure you're gonna be able to rock with it. Unit economics, which is like how much does it cost you per deck, and how much do you sell? You already said $30 per deck.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the cost?
So it cost per deck $3. So my profit would be $27 every deck that I sell.
That's great. That's like a 90% profit margin.
Yes.
Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's really impressive.
And
Thank you.
good old call to action. Remember, in every pitch at the end of it, you want to ask people to do something. You want to tell them something that they can emotionally connect with. You want to give them something rational, and then you want to give them a call to action. And so, how can people support you? And it can be as simple as go buy your cards, or if you have an upcoming event. But tell us how we can get involved.
Get on my card. I have a QR code. I have a website. I have an Instagram. You can follow me on all social medias. I post. I'm having a market tomorrow. So
What's
yeah.
the market?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure yet. My mom planned it for me, so I don't really know the name of it.
That's all right.
Well done, Kingston.
Thank you.
So much.
I'm like half impressed, half intimidated.
Chief Stevenson intimidated.
It might be 70% intimidated, 30% impressed.
Next up, we got young black and poppin' Rico Cruz.
Rico, back to attack.
So, hi everybody. My name is Rico Cruz. I am the owner and CEO of Rico's Rock and Pop. I'm also the author of Rico Rocks at Problem Solving. I sell candy-coated corn puffs. I used to sell popcorn, but then I noticed that the kernels kept getting stuck in my teeth, along with the coating being a little too chewy. So we switched to corn puffs. My book is about how I started my business and the problems that I went through starting my business. I also sell my Young Black and Poppin' t-shirts. The popcorn is $10. The books are also $10, and then my t-shirts are $25.
Okay. What have been your unit sales of any one of these in the last, say, month or a year or what have you? Do you know?
No, not really.
Okay. How much? How much did you say you sell a t-shirt for?
$25.
And how much does it cost you to manufacture each t-shirt?
Is it like 15?
Ooh, okay, that's about right. And same with the book and the popcorn.
I think the book is $5. Popcorn.
The pops, rather.
For the popcorn, a batch is like five to 6 bags, and to make that it costs like $7.
Okay, and what do you make? You say pops?
Yeah,
okay.
Corn puffs.
Corn puffs. Where do you make the corn? How do you make a corn puff anyway? What is it? I think of like a Cheeto puff. Am I thinking the same thing?
Sort of, kind of.
Okay.
So we get so kind of like Pirate's Booty, and then we coat it in our own special flavors.
Okay, you got to circle back. Explain what Pirate's Booty is.
It's a type of.
Remember, I'm a firefighter. I'll go to the inappropriate like that.
He just called you old.
Is Pirate Booty a thing other than what I think it is?
It's a type of corn puff. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, it's okay. I'm old too.
Yeah, apparently you're old too. Wait, I'm old. You're square. Okay, so say more about the Pirate's Booty being flavored. Okay, you explain it. I can't.
So,
yeah.
The different flavors that we coat the corn puffs in are a cookies and cream, which is an Oreo with white chocolate.
Okay.
And then we also have a brown sugar and cinnamon, a lightly salted caramel, a spicy cheddar flavored, and then a butter pecan. Those are our most popular.
Do you make the puffs or do you buy the puffs and then coat them?
Buy the puffs and then coat them.
Okay, and where do you buy the puffs from?
Mostly regular stores, Walmart, Target, stuff like that.
Okay. Is there a way you can get to a wholesaler? You know, so one step would be, Walmart. The next step would be like a Smart and Final, which is closer to wholesale, or being able to reach out directly to the manufacturer and say, can you have me on a regular, sale of so many units? Have you gone that route yet? Have you explored it rather?
Personally, in the business, we haven't tried that yet.
Okay, that'll save you money.
Mm-hmm. Give you more profit margin.
More profit, exactly.
Can you talk about the biggest events that you've done in the past year?
The biggest event that we've done in the past year is a yearly event called Young Biz Kid Day, where kids can show the businesses that they have created over the years.
Okay.
And can you tell folks about our upcoming event?
Oh, so our upcoming event is at Valhalla. It's an event where every Monday of April, we are going to be doing a kind of like gaming and business event where for the first 30 minutes, I'm going to be teaching the kids how to create a business with my How to Fund Your Summer Fun. It's a 5-step process on like what you're good at, how can you create that into a business, where would you sell it, who'd you sell it to, and then when would you start the business. And then for the next, hour, we are going to be doing fun, having snacks, and playing games.
All right. And the call to action, I remember it this time.
Oh, so my call to action is that you can donate to Young Biz Kid Day so we can get more kids there, and so we can support the kids more with their business.
Okay.
All right. Well done, Rico. Okay. Does anybody else? It's not just limited to the kids, although I applaud them for their bravery. You know, pitch practice, opportunity to talk about your business, maybe get some Q&A.
All right.
It's never been done before, so we're gonna do it here. It's gonna be really uncomfortable for me.
You got this.
Oh. Okay, so the reason why it's really uncomfortable is because I'm doing a bad founder thing. We're not supposed to start a second business until the first one is stable. This is my second business. Let's go. Hi, I'm Sammy, and my vision is to maximize the potential of early stage entrepreneurs. Can you raise your hand if you ever wanted to work with a coach or consultant and found out they charge more than $200 an hour? Yeah. So what I've been doing in the last year is I supported over 200 business owners, all early stage, one-on-one management consulting. And I realized that what they really, really need is more time to think about all the hard questions I asked them. So I started a text-based consulting item where for the same price that I normally charge for an hour, they can get a month of support. My goal is to unlock not just insight, strategy, expertise, but accountability, mental health support, and to be your partner while you execute the things that need to be done to actually get revenue through the door. So, special item that because I'm uncomfortable and I need to do this, I was constantly trying to figure out how to give more value to feel good at the early stage of launch. I have not yet come to this community to help them with this specific element of it. So the thing that I will give for this group and this group only, if you're watching, we'll fit you in. If you are going to sign up for this service, I will give you a 1-hour consult for free. That is the entire 1-hour consult and the 1 month of coaching support afterwards so that you can go execute whatever it is in your business right now. My specialty and the thing I want to help you with the most is figuring out your customer, product, price, message, and channel. If you have all 5 of those, how much money can you make? I want to help you find out.
Yeah,
Give me feedback, please.
Well, first off, I'll just say there's a pledge that Sammy and I and some other entrepreneurs have, and it's like, I will not start another business today, but because we all kind of. But yeah, you know, and from a pitch format, I mean, it was excellent. I just want to point that out because you know, it followed kind of the framework of the problem that you're trying to solve, a solution, and then a call to action to sign up. And then what you did was you didn't discount your service. A lot of people would be inclined to go and offer a discount to get people involved. Instead, what you did is you added value. So that way you don't discount your revenue and you can just add value. So just want to applaud that. But questions? Do you have questions?
That was excellent.
So what's the roadmap? Because you can't be like texting hundreds of people. If you have, you know, 12 subscribers, it might be meaningful, but that's $600 a month, which isn't as meaningful. So you need like 120 subscribers, which is like 6,000 a month. That could be a lot more meaningful. But if all those people are texting you, like, what are your plans to deal with that from an operations perspective?
So to start with, the first step is 500. I believe I can support 500 on my own because I did 220 last year. So I'm going to get to 500 on my own. And then what it looks like for scaling then is I get to hire people to help. I get to train them with the framework I've already perfected to get 100% retention on everyone who's currently in the program. And then the next step is actually AI. So that's the thing that's really, it's sexy. That's what investors want to hear. They want to see the version of this that's all technology. I'm not ready to let go of it until I know with 100% certainty every human involved is 100% supported. But I also know that if I want to get to 5,000 with a small team, which unlocks $1 million of revenue every month, my goal is to leverage that to then go back to these same communities, offer traction grants, unlock capital that they have difficulty accessing for other people because they can't create the story, the financial documents, the materials that they need to succeed. But if you're already working with a coach, if they already know your strategy, if they already see how you're going to execute in the next 30 days, I think they can make more budget available than a bank or a person who doesn't know anything about what you're doing would feel comfortable letting go of. So that's the very, very future dream for me. But I know that I have a lot of hustle to do in the next year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, I know you've been wanting to do some kind of pitch.
I gotta work on I don't have my river.
Okay. Oh, you know who? Okay, Miss Deborah, come on up. And then you're next.
I don't know what I want to do.
Give it up for Miss Deborah one more time.
I wish I had to put on some of my logo and all that, but I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I was going to a promise startup business thing, and I need information, and I'm here. So anyway, my name is Deborah, and I am Damn Jeans, and that is my logo, DAMJEANZ. Deborah Ann's Magnificent Jeans.
Okay.
So what do I do? I do what other name brand don't do. I custom design. If you go to my website, let me do that first. www.damnjeans.com. Jeans with a Z, not an S. So what I do is just like I take a plain pair of jeans and I custom design them. I turn them into your cartoon, your paint, your leather, your suede, your lace, whatever you want. I can do your Michael Kors, your Coach, your Guess, your whatever, and everything's original material. So I do the reverse your purse. So you got your Michael Kors, you're tired of it, it's old, it's outdated, but the name isn't. So I need the material. So I do that as well. You go on my website, you'll see some of that. So let me tell you how it started. It started in 2009. I think that's when Michael Jackson passed, right? 2009?
That sounds all right.
Yeah, okay. So my story go a long way back. It go a long way back because I was kind of like, let's get honest. I was just released out of jail. And not only that, I'm a recovering addict. I got 19 years clean. And that's why I say I got to keep it honest, because that's part of my recovery. I don't want to get up here and feed you some lie or feed you some half truth, because I can't tell my whole story. And so anyway, when I got out of prison, Michael Jackson died. I love Michael Jackson. And I didn't have much of anything. And I didn't have any Michael Jackson gear. And I had to pay tribute to Michael Jackson because I love him. So, mind you, I didn't even have a computer. I didn't even have a computer yet when I got out of prison. I was roaming around looking for things that of value that I could use. So I happened to run across this computer that was in the set out for the trash. It was sitting on somebody's couch out by the dumpster, by their driveway. And I was riding my bike and I rode over there and I go, wow, that looks like a whole IBM. So I go, oh, I'm going to get that home. So I had to go and look for a basket, find me a basket, go lock my bike up. Matter of fact, I was at the place on Las Vegas Boulevard over here. It was, I think it's the health clinic or something. It used to be a medical something for, I don't know if it was the homeless, whatever it was. I was there trying to get some glasses. So by waiting on my appointment, I went and I scouted and I found this computer. And so I found me a basket, and I just took all of it out the box and put it in the basket and pushed it back up to the health place where my bike was. So now I can't get the bike and the computer home. So I got the computer home. So when I got home, I ran upstairs and I say, Mom, I got a computer. She said, Deborah, where'd you get that computer from? I said, Mama, I found it. And I said, can I bring it upstairs so I can see if it worked? Mind you, I didn't know how to even hook it up. I just knew one thing. If the lights come on, it works. So I got upstairs and Mom said, Deborah, that thing looks so old. You know, it was an older computer, the white big screen and the big tower, had the keyboard and this all that. So I go, well, you know, whatever it looks like, it goes in that socket, goes in that socket. I just plugged everything up and the green light came on. The screen came on. And I go, oh, I got it, Mom, I got it. I get excited about it because that was my first computer. I never had a computer. I didn't know how to work the computer. I just knew I wanted one. So now I got the computer. What am I going to do? I didn't know what to do with the computer. So I began, when I was in prison, I became a writer. I do poetry and I do art. I learned how to draw in prison and I learned how to write. I write my own poems. I got my own cardstock. So now I need to get some Michael Jackson going. So what I did, I asked the kids in the neighborhood, and we lived in an apartment. So I said, how do you make the computer find pictures for you? She said, you gotta have an internet. What the hell is that? I didn't know. So I went to a thrift store and I found this book says how to use a computer. And they start talking about the screen and the what you call the cursor. I don't know what all that is. So I asked the little kid to come show me how to work the computer. And they told me how to hook up my computer so that I can get the internet. I got the internet. And then I started downloading Michael Jackson. Oh, what are you going to do? How can I get him? I need to get it printed. Didn't have the printer. I didn't have a printer. So that evening, I went out on my bicycle and I just rode the neighborhood over by the lawyer's offices over here on downtown. And I found all kind of office stuff. They throw away everything. They throw away printers. They throw away computers. They throw away everything. All I knew is I needed a printer right now. And it just so happened, God just, I don't know, he just worked it out. He just worked it out. I took it home and I didn't know what to plug it into on the computer to make it print for me. But I figured it out. So that's where I printed my first Michael Jackson. I did Michael Jackson. I had to hurry and get it done. He had just passed and I had to get over on Palomino where his house was. So I printed Michael Jackson on the 10 by 11 paper. And I just put him all over my pants, my t-shirt. I still got it to this day. I still got them pants. So that was my motivation. You can do that, Deb. Hey, you can make your own jeans. And mind you, that's when True Religion came out and 50 Cent had a name brand too. I don't know what it was. But I didn't have no money. I couldn't buy no True Religion. I couldn't buy the name brand stuff. So I made my own jeans, and I called them the new religion.
I love that.
Yes.
So I just, Miss Deborah, I just want to give you your flowers, for coming up and sharing that story. And, I want to pull from some of the things that other people brought up today. One of those things, like, if you, we're not everybody needs to be a faith-based entrepreneur, but there's a lot of faith-based entrepreneurs around, and God will provide, when you ask and you show up, and that's what happened. And Sammy talked a lot about entrepreneurship isn't about getting people to help you get unstuck. It's about how can you get yourself unstuck as much as possible by trying to find the knowledge, by troubleshooting, by not being afraid. And so I just want to commend you for having that spirit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that was riveting. Anybody else want to go? You got Chris. All right.
Chris is ready.
Here you go, sir.
Hello, hello.
And you are tall, so.
Yeah, you are. You got to back up.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Hello. How you guys doing?
Great.
My name's Chris Smith, and my business is called TR Tastebenders, the real Tastebenders. So I've been a chef for over 10 years now. I've been in the field for a little bit over 10 years now. Started off in LA. Been here since 2018. I specialize in American comfort food with a bit of a Southern twist. So I plan to bring my expertise and this flavor to our community first. And I want to start off with using local ingredients. So I'll be reaching out to growers and like-minded people who's ready to start from the bottom like I am. And I just want you guys to experience the taste and the flavor that I create and warm you guys' hearts and get good feedback. And right here, this is my Instagram, TR Tastebenders. And this is some of my handcrafted, some of my handcrafted food, everything from scratch.
What is that top center?
Excuse me?
What is that top center?
That's salmon. Grilled salmon. So I finished school in 2012 and took off from there. So as you can see, a lot of these photos, they're from home. Some of them are from different events and whatnot. But like I said, everything's from scratch. And this is what I love to do.
Oh my God.
And this is how I bend flavors. So I hope you guys can check me out pretty soon. Hopefully I'll be launching this summer.
I hope so
and,
too.
We'll get it going. Definitely videos. That's a event I did at home. Put out the flat top and let the community come enjoy with us. So
holy mackerel.
I need that to come out in summer.
Oh yeah, whatever event you got, just let me know. Reach out to me, and
have you got your
I'll be happy to accommodate.
Have you got your license yet?
Yes, I'm certified. I have my food handler's card and everything like that.
Okay.
The business license.
Business.
So you get that
That's
going.
next.
Okay, we got to get you rolling on
actual
that
business
for sure.
license.
You making Mickey Mouse pancakes. You showing off.
Oh, you have stuff for the kids. You
showing
got to
off.
start off with the kids. So if the kids give you good feedback and they love it, then everybody else is gonna love it too.
Yeah, we got to get you rolling. And you want to do food trucks, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes, I would love to have a food truck, but so when I get this food truck, I'm primarily gonna tackle and target the festivals, so we can all have fun.
Yes.
And I just want to put it to the test against the rest of the flavors in the world. So
we got a question.
Well, here's a suggestion.
Or
What
suggestion.
about some of the farmers markets?
Yeah.
Because those are great places to show off your food. There are tons of people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't shy away from the farmers markets either. I'd definitely like to be in there.
On that note, I want to just share an announcement, which is for our next Promise Startups conference. So this Promise Startups conference, as y'all could have seen, was very youth oriented, and we did Youth Exploring STEM. That's what we had going on in the building. Next Promise Startups, we're bringing back the West Side Market. So we're gonna have a farmers market. It's open for vendors. So if anybody wants to vend, if you want to bring some food for us to taste,
I'll definitely do all that.
awesome.
I like to set up a
Made for
tasting
it.
here. I like to start here since we are here.
Man,
We can set that up. I love to do that.
those look really good, Chris.
Thank you.
Holy.
Any questions for Chris?
Lord.
Any questions, anybody?
I'm distracted, so I'm
That's fine.
He's hungry. He's gonna be thinking about salmon
Yes.
now.
I got a problem.
Where do you get skill from? I really want to know because my melt's a little bit too big.
Skill. All right. So I started off All right, so my dad was a chef in the Army. My mom, she always cooked too. We're from Louisiana, but they spent a lot of time at work, so I was always hungry, so I had to. I started off feeding myself, and
then you feed your buddies.
Yep, exactly. My buddies,
Right.
myself, we all pitched in, and I was the one that was doing most of the cooking. So when I got older, I figured, let me go jump into the restaurant. And my first job in the restaurant was a dishwasher. I just wanted to get my feet in the door. So I wasn't moving fast enough for my liking. So I went to school. And I came back to the kitchen with a vengeance.
Where'd you go to school for
culinary?
Which one?
I went to St. Joseph in Venice, California. I took a 28 professional course. That was in 2012. I finished that. Then my externship at a place called Michael's. It was the first French cuisine in Santa Monica. And when I got there, there's a lot of people from Le Cordon Bleu and some of the other culinary places. But I found a course that was free for me, but I ended up in the same place as all the other chefs, and I just took off with it. I never looked back.
Good for you.
Yeah, and that logo I designed myself. I know it was some. The logo doctor is gone, but I wanted to ask his advice on that. But I did that myself.
When you complete the cooking training, when you finish any culinary school, do you graduate as a chef or do you graduate as a sous chef? I don't know how that works.
I'm glad you asked me that. So I personally feel like a chef is almost self-appointed. Everybody's going to give you feedback, right? So as far as you calling yourself a chef, it really boils down to confidence.
Okay.
Because everybody possesses the same skills or whatnot, but if you're confident enough in yourself to showcase the skill that the knowledge that then you're a chef.
But the chef is the one that runs the kitchen. The sous chef is
you got chef, sous chef, or I could say executive chef, sous chef, and
Gotcha.
Prep cook.
Gotcha.
So on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
right. Give it up for Chris.
Chef Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. You got it.
I got something to say.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Deborah has feedback.
I got really. You want to say something more?
Oh no, is a question for
I got
him?
really emotional and about my sharing and stuff, but I didn't get to share with you guys that I did have a business. I was blessed by the grace of God to have a business here. I was right next door to Miss Annie's Kitchen. I used to have a little a gift shop right inside of the Jackson Market. And he's going to show you some of my stuff. And that's where I started. I got the confidence I always just ask God to bless me with a store. I want a store because I had so many different gifts. And like, I'm a writer, an artist. I custom design. I did woodwork. I used to have a woodwork shop in my backyard where I just find a piece of tree or whatever, and I turned it into some whatever God brings to me. And you can see some of that on my website. This is some of the little things I do. I do short sets and jeans and whatever it is, whatever God just makes sure that I'm never broke.
Okay.
I'm never broke. Right. I don't have the room to say is I'm broke and I ain't got no money. I don't know how to make it. I know how to make God show you that I can. And I just put everything I do, my Raiders, I do NFL, I do any sports, whatever. It just, he just lets me know that there's nothing that I can't do.
Have you ever done any of the festivals? We have a few here, but like Atlanta, LA,
right.
San Francisco. I used to go to all the festivals.
San Francisco, California?
San Francisco, Los Angeles has the most. Well, Atlanta has the most. Then Los Angeles and San Francisco, but they have communities. And even here we have pop-ups around, but you can really do well.
I don't do a lot. I don't do no traveling out of state. I don't know. I just grew up under my mother. And
we used to have a lot of them here, but the main one downtown, the girl who I know that used to put it on had a stroke. So I haven't been able to find out. They don't have it anymore. So I don't know if they're ever going to start. Great. That was.
I did a fashion
it was
show
somewhere
at the
February,
Union
just
Plaza.
right downtown.
Yeah, with Essence. She does a lot of little things, and we got a chance to showcase a fashion show there. And I had some models to model my clothes for me. It's something everybody just put, and they helped me because I didn't know. And I have done like the swap meets. I did that for like 2 years or something like that. But when I got the store then I had another store on Stewart in Maryland, inside of a store, and it's always the store closed. Now I gotta go, but now I'm mobile, and I'm just waiting for the wind to calm down so I can get back out there.
Can I suggest also contacting all of the senior centers here in Las Vegas?
Oh,
They do a lot of events as well.
okay.
That
awesome.
that might
that's my shirt I
quite a few
have.
customers.
Damn jeans.
I love it. Any probably time for one or two last pitches. So final call on open pitching. Yep, Jolina, come on up.
All right.
All right.
Hi, my name is Jo. Well, let me get standing. My name is Jolina Walker, and I am a community midwife. And my business is called the Birth Collaborative Las Vegas, because birth is not meant to be a singular event with just that one birthing person. It is a collaboration between your team and medical assistants and everybody in your community. So the Birth Collaborative has launched a doula training program, because we know that mothers and birthing people need that assistance, that education, and that support, both prenatally, during the labor, and postpartum. So we decided that for community, for our mothers, for our protection, for our joy, for our futures, we need to train the next generation of birthing support. And so our doula training program is just that. We are community doulas. So we train them not only in how to love on that birthing person and love on that mama, but also how to educate them, how to empower them through advocacy, and how to help them communicate their needs to their medical providers. So not only do they come out loved, safe, and joyful in their postpartum, but they can also rest with their baby and understand that they are protected and surrounded. So the Birth Collaborative. So please look at our website. It is BCLV, birthcollaborativelasvegas.org. And if you would like to become a doula, not only just for birth, but even postpartum, if you've got that mothering spirit, if you've got that parenting spirit, that heart to support that birthing person, come to us, let us train you so that the people that you support will have the access to resources that they need.
Can you repeat your website?
BCLV, Birth Collaborative Las Vegas.
And what is a doula?
A doula is a birth attendant. So we're trained.
Is that an acronym or something?
No.
Okay.
No. We're trained to help assist people who are giving birth. So in their prenatal stage and in their postpartum stage. Now, a doula can be a full spectrum doula, which means that you might find doulas who are death doulas as well, helping to usher someone into death and helping their family through that process as well. We have fertility doulas if people are struggling with fertility, but what we are trained to do are birth and postpartum doulas.
Gotcha.
Where does doula come from?
Doula is a Latin word that means woman servant.
Oh, wow.
So we have been with our sisters in birth from the beginning. We have never birthed alone the way that we birth in this country. A doula is different than a midwife. A midwife is that clinical care provider. A doula is that education support and resource that parent can lean on and count on when they are in need and when they're in their most vulnerable state.
I saw a couple questions on Chris and Miss Tammy.
Do you also pair with they lead you lead, or do you have your own organization that teaches new mothers how to breastfeed and the benefits of it?
So absolutely, the Birth Collaborative will have lactation classes and support groups. La Leche League is one of the longest running peer support group. Part of our training is also training our doulas how to be peer support as well, so that we'll be culturally accurate. And our doulas are community doulas. So we want our doulas serving in the streets that they're walking. So if you're driving across town to serve someone, you don't know their language, you don't know their culture, it's going to be a little bit harder for you to touch them in all the ways that can be relevant to them. So our doulas, we want you back in your own grocery stores. We want you back in the streets, but getting paid to do that work that your heart calls you to do anyway.
I was going to ask what a male midwife would be called, but
yeah, just a midwife. Yeah, a male doula. We got dad doulas now. Yes, yeah, we got dad doulas.
I delivered my niece.
Yeah,
a couple years ago.
Dope.
I wish I had some doula practice before, but I think I did good. I kept her calm.
Absolutely, that's
I was the one that was tripping.
I bet you didn't show it though, not until later.
No, I couldn't show a thing.
Yeah.
Paramedics were the worst though, so that's what really made me like this is really good, because I really wish we could have fully handled it at home and we did not have to call them. They just made it all work. They made it work. They weren't properly trained. They were like aggressive and they didn't really care, and they were just really agitating everybody, and it's already a stressful situation.
So my very first baby that I caught, I was a fresh green doula. Like I literally just finished my training like 2 weeks before, and my client's midwife sent her home with a sleeping pill, and she woke up literally pushing a baby out. And one of the things that is so interesting about the journey that I've been on since then is that when the paramedics came into that room that very first time, you know, they're big guys, they're coming in with all their equipment, they're doing their thing, but that was an unplanned home birth. So they are doing their job and what they know how to do. But if you want that home birth and you want that protection, you have to plan that out. It's not like the old days where everybody knew the midwife was coming no matter what, right? Or the cousin who knew how to do that. When we, in our work as a doula, in my work as a midwife, we are a collaboration. And that's why the birth collaborative is so important, because we need to reach all of those teams. And when I work as a home birth midwife and we have to call in EMS, we know how to ensure that when EMS comes in, we can protect that space and also give EMS the space to do their work as well. So I know it can be really intimidating or really scary when all the big guys come in and all the big equipment. But the truth is that when we work as a collaboration, you were there to help keep your niece safe and calm, and they were there to help protect the space and health and safety. And we want to be able to work together with all of those spaces. I know midwives who train EMS, right? And I had to call EMS as a home birth midwife myself, but yeah, I see you like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. So I wanted to make a comment because you know, I'm not sure you mentioned it, but I wanted to bring it to the top of everybody's awareness, which is that BIPOC folks, so Black, Indigenous, people of color, are more likely to suffer from medical distressing situations in America, meaning that more likely babies die, mothers die in the healthcare system based off of skin color and race. Absolutely. And part of the reason is like the cultural gap that exists in the healthcare system. And that's where doulas are so powerful to be able to help fill that gap, protect the patient. And so I didn't know that men can become doulas. And I'm curious, I don't know that I want to sign up to be a full-fledged doula, but how can I like make
a little bit more useful, like Chris, if I ever found myself in that scenario, then I can actually be of service.
A doula with limits.
Yeah.
So absolutely. One of the things that doulas help do in any situation is educate the entire community. So come take a class with us, Elias, because what we want are peer mentors. We want soldiers on the ground to say, you know what, these are the signs that you're getting close to needing to go to the hospital. If the hospital is your place of birth. These are the signs that you need to know to call your midwife, just so you know. So we want to instill education into the community at all levels. We want the aunties to know. We want the grandpas to know. We want the uncles to know, because we are here to protect and create that safety net for our community. And you're right, Black women have 3 times higher death and mortality rate in childbirth. And part of that is part of racism, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to be able to create a larger net outside of hospital spaces. We have to create that net in community so that we can protect our own, so that when we do need to call EMS or when we do go into the hospital, we understand what our rights and responsibilities are as a birthing person, as a family and a community to support that birthing person.
Thank you.
Thanks. No hard questions.
All right, thank you so much, Jolina. That was excellent. Kind of let the awkward silence simmer a minute before we decide to end the stream. I think we are good to go. Everybody, thank you so much for attending this edition of the Promise Startups Conference. It's been a real pleasure. You don't have to go home. We could all kind of collab, co-work if you want to. And Jon, thank you so much for being such an amazing killer.
Thank you so much.